ladies and gentlemen, those in our country who have over the past couple of years been given the task of running the ship and who promptly ran it aground predictably would like to continue running the ship. Thank you very much. If you haven't been living under a rock during the entire pandemic experience, and maybe even if you have, you are doubtless aware that the mostly useless phenomena of masking dug its tentacles into just about every nook and cranny our society had to offer. Seriously sick of the masks. Even today, when COVID has mysteriously just disappeared almost completely from the news cycle, just in time for the midterms, even though most of the places you go now have finally succumbed to the attrition of good old-fashioned American boredom and given up on the shit approach to facial decoration, there are still a few holdouts. And unfortunately, our schools in many places throughout the country are one of those holdouts. Now, the other day, a week-long survey from Politico and Harvard found that the vast majority of parents now feel like masks are either not doing their kids any good at all in school or are even harmful. Now, you know that I like to come on this program and give you the most fair, balanced, and ultimately tactful response to the things that cross my plate as I digest the news throughout the week. So please take my response for the well-thought-out invective against the wastage of brain cells that it actually is. No shit, Sherlock. The majority of parents throughout this country have been against the masking of our kids since basically the beginning of this whole thing because the majority of the parents in the United States still aren't freaking morons. You people are coming along and trying to sell us this idea that you're just now discovering what parents think. That's a type of person, and I'm sure we all know one, who can only be convinced to do something if you convince him that it was his idea to do it in the first place. I mean, you know the type I'm talking about. Well, this is a variant on that. Call it the Omicron asshole, okay? This is the type of person who can only be convinced of a thing if enough people from his tribe agree with it. And as per our usual arrangement with the Democrat Party, the only acceptable righting of the ship toward truth comes at a glacial pace, and only when there's someone at the helm who's wearing the correct letter in front of his name. Listen, folks, at a certain point, we got to wake up to the fact that we have done and continue to do a tremendous amount of damage to the children of this country over the past couple of years. From the masks and the vaccines and the woke BS we've allowed to be mainlined into their brains, we've really done a stand-up job of just really sitting the hell down. And it's time to end that. You want to tell me there's a, quote, new study suggesting that a majority of parents across the political spectrum now recognize what most of us already know? Fine, do something about it. Get this crap out of schools. Because, of course, they're harmful physically and emotionally. Look, I'm personally tired of talking about this. It's time that we put this garbage behind us and start working harder toward building the kind of future with our children that we desperately need to be there. And that is one they actually do deserve. Please get rid of these masks. You know, I was watching, when we watched, and the first thing I noticed, I'm sitting at the restaurant the other night. You know, last week I'm sitting there watching, and the Oscars is on. And the first thing I noticed is nobody in the room's wearing, well, there's a couple of people. If you really looked out in the crowd, there might have been 2 or 3 people wearing a mask. It's like suddenly nobody cares.